On the third day of medical leave. Now, I was supposed to have at least 3 months, could have had up to 6 months, but I was on the third day of medical leave. I, and this, on the third day of medical leave, I received a email at 5:56 a.m. that said I was one of 11,000 people that will be laid off. You heard that right. I got fired on my day off. Like, the movie Friday. Yeah, I got fired on my day off. On my medical leave day off, right? Hey, all you lovely, rich, and melanated people. I'm Jay Stevens, and welcome to Rich Like My Melanin, where we make money moves that make sense. I break down money, investing, and building wealth in a way that's real and relatable. And today we're talking about layoffs. From February to July 2025, the federal workforce shrunk by 22,000 jobs in the DMV area alone. And Black women, of course, were heavily impacted by this. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, Black women lost 106,000 jobs in just 1 month. 1 month. And I want to do something to help. So I am going to spend the next few months providing resources, providing information on this YouTube channel and on my website and my social media pages on things and places that can help people who are impacted by layoffs. I want you to know that you are not in this alone and you will get through this, which is why, for the first time ever, I am sharing in video format the story of how I was impacted by layoffs. That's right. I'm trying to help normalize this by letting you know my story. So picture it. Fall 2022. I was working for a large global social media company. I am not saying the name. I am just saying I was working for a large, major global social media company. The job was stressful for a lot of reasons, which I will share in a subsequent video. And that was also how I knew layoffs were coming because of all the stress that was going on. Not to say stress means the layoff is coming, just there were signs there, right? So I was actually starting to have heart pain. Like I would be at work and my heart was hurting so much and I couldn't catch my breath. So I have to go to the hospital. And they're like, oh, you're not having a heart attack, but something's definitely wrong. So I was put on medical leave so that I could de-stress, work on getting better. On the third day of medical leave. Now I was supposed to have at least 3 months, could have had up to 6 months, but I was on the third day of medical leave. I and this on the third day of medical leave, I received a email at 5:56 a.m. that said I was one of 11,000 people that will be laid off. You heard that right. I got fired on my day off, like the movie Friday. Yeah, I got fired on my day off, on my medical leave day off, right? I was flabbergasted. I was stressed. I was confused. I was hurt because here I am working hard, thinking I'm doing what's expected of me. I had relocated my entire life from DC to Atlanta or Austin. I wish Atlanta, from DC to Austin for that job, only to be dismissed via an email. Fortunately, I will say this is not like a hate on the company that terminated me type of video. I'm more positive than that. The company did provide a very generous severance package. I used that, combined it with my savings to stay financially float. But I want you all to understand what financially float meant, right? So during the months when I was looking for a job, it was like 8 months in total. During that time, I had to pay two mortgages. I had two properties, neither of which were rented out. And so I had to pay both mortgages. Federal student loan payments restarted. So I had to start paying my student loans again. I had to move myself back from Austin to DC and move in with my mom. That was very expensive. Very expensive move. And I had to just leave stuff because I couldn't afford to take it. I had to do all of that while also trying to get well because the stress, like I said, I had heart pain. So I had to work on not stressing myself out while I was in a very stressful situation. A lot going on there. Throughout that, I still needed to find a job, right? Because, like, you need health insurance while you're trying to get well. So at the same time, I'm applying to all these jobs. Let me tell y'all the numbers. I applied to 115 jobs. I participated in over 200 interviews. I'm talking about wearing a suit every day for an interview at that point, pretty much. I also attended 5 career fairs. Some were virtual, some were in person. I had 2 different career coaches because I had one and then that person left, and so they gave me a different career coach with the company I was working with. And then through all of that, I had, of course, offer letters, ghosting, all of this. And like maybe it was an offer letter, but it was for a role that was very junior for me, or the salary wasn't, in line with what I would need and what fit my skill set. And I said, I just can't take this. I'm not in a position that I just need a job. If that's the case, I'll just go back to slanging khakis at Old Navy and power suits at Ann Taylor. Y'all know I started there and I'll go back there anytime I need to. So I'm doing all of this, right? Got payments, got to move, trying to get well, trying to get a job that works. But throughout all of that, I was blessed to have an abundance of resources. Everything from encouragement to advice to guides. Like I said, I went to a lot of career fairs. And so I combined all those resources into a guide I call The Good and Goodbye: How to Navigate Job Loss. That's right. There is good and goodbye in leaving a company. I have that resource, that ebook, The Good and Goodbye: How to Navigate Job Loss, on my website right now if you want to purchase it. And I'm going to be doing a lot more with that because if you are impacted by layoffs, you need the help, right? You need the resources. You don't need people just like patting you on the back and saying it's going to be okay. So like I said, this page, my YouTube page, for the next few months, we are going to be solely focused on helping people get jobs. We can still sprinkle in some fun stories. We can still have a good time. We are going to be focused on helping people get good jobs. I will have everything from how to review a severance package, how to update your resume, getting a LinkedIn page if you don't have it, even just free resources that I find for like places to get groceries or housing assistance or anything like that, because you still have to live, right, while you're doing all of this. As I said before, you are not alone. If you are impacted by layoffs, you are not alone. You will get through this. Take a deep breath, take encouragement from my story, and let's work together to change this, to get you back where you belong, and even better if possible.